Good afternoon. This is Vicki Soule from Community Conversations and also from Treasure Coast Community Health, where we provide primary medical, dental, behavioral health, and support services for our entire community. Today I have someone with me that is very timely and very nice to have on board because he's used to the radio, being a ham radio operator himself, and that is our Cert Program Manager, David Robinson. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Vicki. Glad to be here.
Well, you know, it's after June 1st, so even though the sales tax holiday came and went,
Yep.
You and I had a brief discussion about how few people we saw out there in the stores taking advantage of the hurricane preparedness. And so I thought it would be really a good thing for us to talk about how things are really supposed to go, as opposed to the procrastinators of the world that are all out there 2 days before we get terrible windy events.
Yeah, certainly we'd love to have everybody be prepared for every kind of disaster and all kind of hazards all the time. Of course, here in Florida, we focus on hurricanes a lot because that's what we see most of, perhaps. But we also see tornadoes and lightning and fire and wildfire, all those kinds of things.
So true.
People have to be prepared for things like that. And we see that tax holiday, people maybe buy extra water or extra gas cans or things like that. But frankly, just like you said, I didn't see that many people buying stuff this time.
And just having the tools is also not enough.
It's not enough.
So tell us what the role of CERT is, C-E-R-T. What is that?
So let me tell you first about what CERT is. It's called the Community Emergency Response Team. And it's a program that is a FEMA-sponsored program that is federally funded and completely free to any participants. We give training on preparedness and emergency response, disaster readiness kinds of things. So we teach people about fire safety and use of fire extinguishers. We teach people about search and rescue and how to pull people out of rubble or you know, an emergency situation. We teach life-saving first aid. For example, clearing airways and stopping bleeding and things like that, treating people for shock, the things that would kill you quickly.
Yeah.
Our role really is about neighbors helping neighbors until the professional responders can arrive.
And that is so important, particularly in the events of fire or hurricanes. You know, every second counts. And after the hurricanes, certainly the roads, the lights, everything is in total disarray. So it might take them even longer, no matter how close, in theory, they are.
Well, in a big disaster, you're exactly right. You know, an emergency that happens on your street on any other given night, the first responders are going to be there within 4 or 5 minutes. But when a big disaster, like you said, the roads may be blocked, the power is going to be out, it's going to be havoc everywhere. And what the professional responders have to do is prioritize the highest priority areas. It might be hours, it might be days before you see fire, EMT, police, sheriff's office. And so really, after a hurricane, for example, when the wind stops blowing, the first people who you see are not the firefighters. They are your neighbors. And so we train people in neighborhoods to form neighborhood CERT teams. And so that those CERT teams can respond quickly in an organized fashion in ways that they've trained to do to help their neighbors to recover from or just respond to an emergency situation until those professional responders can arrive.
And so if they have a skill set, you know, maybe a retired nurse, that's great, but it doesn't have to be that sort of individual, just someone in the neighborhood that is interested in helping out. And you mentioned that you have monthly meetings where you do refresher courses. I'm assuming then that those folks represent already established neighborhoods, but there are so many more that could use this assistance.
Well, we have two types of training, really. We have a basic CERT course that takes about 20 hours or so to complete over the course of 3 weeks. We do it in increments like 2 nights a week for 3 weeks, and then we have a Saturday exercise at the end to sort of let people demonstrate that they can do these skills.
Okay.
But then once they've graduated from the basic CERT course, then we have, as you said, monthly what I call CERT alumni meetings. And these are people who have had CERT training either here or anywhere who come together to refresh their skills, to hear speakers on preparedness and emergency management type topics,
And they probably share their previous experiences,
Yes,
so they'll learn that way.
It's
So
also
if
a good
someone
networking opportunity for folks.
Oh, absolutely. So if someone wanted to participate in this, who should they contact, Dave?
Well, they should contact me first. And the easiest way to do that is to send me an email at, and here it is, it's CERT, that's C-E-R-T, of Indian River County.
All spelled out.
All spelled out, CERT of Indian River County at gmail.com.
Okay.
And I can get them signed up for a class, or I can tell them about what's going on in our program. If they're a former CERT alumni or somebody that had CERT training someplace else, they want to get connected, CERT of Indian River County at gmail.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping by today.
Happy
It's
to
been
do
a
it.
real pleasure.